In the distant reaches of the galaxy, humanity was known as a young and weak species. Alien civilizations were advanced, powerful, and proud of their strength. They viewed humans as fragile beings, easily injured, with limited strength. Stories spread of human frailty, and aliens across the galaxy laughed, thinking humans could never match their resilience. One day, an important intergalactic alliance formed to complete a dangerous mission on a hostile planet known as Zynar, a place filled with dangerous creatures and harsh conditions. Human and alien soldiers were selected for this mission, and although the humans were honored to join, the aliens felt the humans were unworthy. Among the alien troops were the Clerians, known for their tough skin and immense strength, and the Vaxorians, who could survive without food or water for days. The aliens often whispered among themselves, wondering why such weaklings as humans were allowed to come along. Captain Leo Harris led the human team, while Commander Terran. As they prepared to enter Zynar's dangerous forest, Terran noticed Harris giving his human soldiers words of encouragement. Terran sneered. "Your humans won't last long here, Captain," he said mockingly. "This planet will test real strength, and I'm afraid your kind will crumble." Captain Harris gave a calm smile. "We're tougher than we look, Commander," he replied. But Terran only chuckled and walked away, already certain of the humans' failure. The mission was grueling from the start. The planet's atmosphere was dense and hot, making every breath feel like a struggle. Sharp, thorny plants and aggressive creatures lurked at every turn, and even the ground was uneven and unstable. Within hours, several soldiers from both teams were wounded by the hostile environment. At one point, a creature with razor-sharp claws ambushed the group. In the chaos, a human soldier named Sam took a hit to his shoulder, leaving a deep gash. He fell to the ground, clutching his wound as blood oozed down his arm. The aliens snickered, expecting that Sam would be too weak to continue. "See, they are too delicate," whispered one Vaxorian to another. "One injury and they're already down." Sam's friends tried to help him, but he shook his head. "I'm fine," he said through gritted teeth, as he used a basic medical kit to clean and bandage his wound. The aliens watched in disbelief as, instead of retreating or resting, Sam stood back up and continued the mission with determination in his eyes. Although in pain, he pushed forward, keeping pace with the rest. As the group moved deeper into the forest, more injuries followed. Each time, the aliens expected the humans to quit or ask for help. But the humans did something unexpected. They kept going, using their medical supplies, grit, and teamwork to stay in the fight. Alien soldiers looked on with surprise as the humans healed rapidly from cuts, bruises, and other wounds. They couldn't understand how these weaklings found the strength to keep moving. The final challenge came when the group had to cross a dangerous canyon, using only a fragile bridge made of vines and branches. The bridge swayed with every step, and several alien soldiers hesitated, fearing it might collapse under their weight. But to everyone's shock, Captain Harris crossed first, calmly guiding his team over the swaying bridge. Halfway across, an alien slipped and cut his leg on a sharp rock jutting from the bridge's side. As he struggled to hold on, one of the human soldiers reached out, pulling him back to safety. "I've got you," the human said, his own arm still wrapped in bandages from an earlier injury. The alien, stunned by the human's resilience, muttered, "But you're injured too. How are you still going?" The human only shrugged. "We heal fast and keep moving. We're not as fragile as you think." When they finally reached the mission's endpoint, the aliens were exhausted, bruised, and battered. Many alien soldiers who had once looked down on humans were now seeing them in a new light. Humans had fought alongside them, taken hits, healed themselves, and helped their alien allies without hesitation. Commander Terran, who had mocked Captain Harris and his team at the beginning, now looked at him with respect. "Captain Harris," he said slowly, "I may have misjudged your people. You and your team have shown incredible strength and resilience. It seems I have a lot to learn about your kind." Captain Harris smiled, offering his hand. "We're just here to help, Commander. Maybe we're different, but that doesn't mean we're weak." As they made their way back to their ships, the alien soldiers exchanged glances, whispering among themselves about the humans' resilience. They now knew humans had a hidden strength, a quiet determination that pushed them to survive and overcome. No longer would the galaxy see them as weaklings. Humans had earned respect among the stars, and their reputation for resilience would echo across planets for years to come. By the time they returned, the story of human strength had spread among the alien ranks. The laughter and mockery had faded, replaced by admiration and respect. And the humans, though humble, knew they had proven themselves in the eyes of the galaxy. In the vast galaxy, humans were known as fragile. Alien species laughed at how easily humans could get hurt, how quickly their skin could tear, and how delicate they seemed compared to the tough-skinned, almost indestructible beings of the stars. But humans had a secret, one that the aliens would soon see for themselves. A mission brought humans and aliens together on the wild planet of Xintar. Known for its dangerous landscapes, strange creatures, and rough climate, Xintar was the ultimate test of endurance and strength. It was no place for the weak. Despite this, a group of human soldiers was chosen to join an alliance with alien forces, as they would work together to retrieve a valuable energy crystal hidden deep within the planet's mountains. Among the aliens was Commander Thrax, a towering, blue-skinned leader from the Krazen race. The Krazens had thick scales and could survive intense injuries without even flinching. Thrax was less than impressed by the humans, and during the briefing, he couldn't help but smirk. "Are you sure your humans can handle this mission, Captain?" he asked, glancing at Captain John Carter, the human team leader. Captain Carter gave a polite nod. "We can handle ourselves just fine, Commander." Thrax scoffed, thinking to himself, these humans won't last an hour out there. The journey into Xintar's harsh terrain began. Right away, every step was a challenge. Sharp rocks cut through boots, thorny plants scratched anyone who got too close, and sudden gusts of wind threw dust and grit into their eyes. The aliens moved easily, their tough skin and strong bodies unaffected by the harsh environment. But soon, some of the human soldiers began to get minor cuts and bruises. One of the younger human soldiers, Private Samuels, tripped and scraped his knee on a jagged rock. Blood trickled down his leg, and several alien soldiers nearby chuckled, muttering among themselves. Thrax sneered. "It seems your people can't even handle a small scratch, Captain." But Captain Carter stayed calm. He watched as Private Samuels quickly applied a bandage and stood back up, ready to keep moving. "We're fine, Commander," he said. "Just give us time." As they ventured deeper, they encountered one of Xintar's deadly creatures, a massive six-legged beast with sharp claws and powerful jaws. The creature attacked, injuring several soldiers from both the human and alien teams. Private Samuels was knocked down, receiving a deep gash on his arm from the beast's claws. The aliens rolled their eyes, thinking that the human would be useless from that point on. But to their surprise, Samuels wrapped his arm with a medical dressing, took a deep breath, and kept moving forward. Thrax couldn't believe it. "Your soldier is still fighting with that injury?" he asked, astonished. Captain Carter nodded, smiling slightly. "Humans don't give up that easily. We have ways of dealing with pain." The journey grew harder, with steeper climbs, dangerous cliffs, and more wild creatures. Each time a human got hurt, they would stop only for a moment, treat their wound, and continue. The aliens began to notice that human injuries seemed to heal quicker than expected. Small cuts closed up within hours, and bruises faded fast. Aliens who had dismissed humans as fragile were starting to grow curious. At one point, a Krazen soldier named Larak, known for his harsh judgments, approached a human soldier named Maria, who had a bad cut on her arm. "Aren't you tired? You've been injured so many times. Doesn't it hurt?" Maria smiled, wiping the sweat from her face. "Sure, it hurts, but we're used to pushing through. Humans heal fast, and we don't stop until the job is done." Larak was surprised by her response. He had never seen any species endure so much with so little complaint. Even his own people, tough as they were, would have rested more often. But these humans just kept going. Finally, after days of trekking, they reached the cave where the energy crystal was hidden. Exhausted but determined, they completed their mission, securing the crystal that could power countless worlds. The return journey was still dangerous, but by now, the alien soldiers had a newfound respect for their human allies. Commander Thrax, who had once mocked the humans, now walked beside Captain Carter. "I misjudged your people," he admitted. "You may look fragile, but there's something powerful inside you, a strength I can't quite understand." Captain Carter simply nodded. "We may not be as strong on the outside, but humans have a way of enduring. When we get hurt, we heal and keep going. It's who we are." As they made their way back to the base, the aliens shared stories of how they had seen humans push through pain and exhaustion. The laughter and mockery were gone, replaced by admiration. Humans weren't as fragile as they looked. They had something even stronger, the ability to heal and keep moving forward, no matter the odds. By the time they returned, the story of the humans' resilience had spread among the alien ranks. Now, instead of being seen as weak, humans were known for their remarkable strength of spirit. They may have come to Xintar as the fragile ones, but they left with the respect and admiration of even the toughest aliens. And as they left, the aliens knew they would never underestimate humans again. Across the galaxy, humans were seen as weak and fragile. Alien races thought humans would never survive the harsh worlds and dangers beyond Earth. They were surprised that humans even dared to explore space at all. Among the aliens, stories spread of how easily humans could be injured or even killed. But those stories were only half true. Humans had a secret strength, a natural resilience that no alien could imagine. One day, humans joined an intergalactic team for a mission on Raxel, a dangerous and hostile planet. The mission was to recover a valuable mineral, found only in Raxel's volcanic caves. This mineral was vital for powering advanced alien technology, so failure was not an option. Alien commanders agreed to let humans join, but they didn't expect them to last long. The alien team leader was Commander Velkin, a member of the Vaxorians, a powerful species with strong, armored skin. Velkin couldn't understand why humans, with their soft skin and fragile bones, would even try to survive on a planet as dangerous as Raxel. Before the mission, he walked over to Captain Leo Gray, the human leader, with a mocking smile. "Captain Gray, Raxel is not a place for your kind," Velkin said. "The heat, the creatures, the sharp rocks, your team won't make it far." Captain Gray just smiled politely. "We'll be fine, Commander. Humans are tougher than you think." With a shrug, Velkin led the team onto Raxel. As they marched through the hot, rocky landscape, it wasn't long before the dangers began to show themselves. Razor-sharp rocks sliced into boots, thorny plants scratched and cut anyone who got too close, and sudden eruptions of hot steam from the ground forced everyone to move carefully. Within hours, a human soldier named Sarah tripped and cut her leg on a sharp rock. Blood ran down her leg, and several alien soldiers laughed, shaking their heads. One alien muttered to his friend, "I knew it. Humans are too weak to handle a place like this." But Sarah simply bandaged her leg, took a deep breath, and stood up. She gave the aliens a steady look and said, "Let's keep going." The aliens watched in surprise as Sarah continued, determined to stay with the team despite her injury. As the group went deeper into the volcanic fields, they faced even tougher obstacles. A deadly creature known as a Scarnix, a huge beast with sharp claws and thick scales, suddenly attacked. In the chaos, Private Daniels, a human soldier, took a deep slash across his arm. The wound was deep, and blood flowed freely. The aliens expected Daniels to collapse or beg for help, but instead he simply gritted his teeth, used a first aid kit to clean the wound, and tied it up. "Are you not in pain?" asked a Vaxorian soldier, clearly amazed. Daniels gave a small grin. "Of course I am. But we humans have learned to keep moving. We don't quit that easily." The alien soldiers exchanged glances. They had never seen any species endure injuries with such determination. Aliens were used to relying on their natural toughness to get through, but humans seemed to rely on something different, an inner strength that kept them going even when they were hurt. As they ventured further, more humans got cuts, bruises, and scrapes. The aliens watched, fascinated, as each human quickly patched up their wounds and continued forward. Instead of giving up, the humans seemed to adapt, learning to move more carefully and helping each other whenever someone stumbled. And their healing was astonishing. Small cuts seemed to close within hours, and bruises faded quickly. Finally, After several days of traveling, they reached the volcanic caves. The heat was intense, and the air was thick with ash and smoke. Many of the alien soldiers began to slow down, exhausted by the harsh environment. But the humans kept going, pushing through the discomfort. They collected the mineral and carefully secured it for the journey back. As they began the return trip, one of the alien soldiers, a warrior named Excelra, approached Captain Gray. "I must admit," she said slowly, "I misjudged your people. I thought you were fragile, that you would fall behind and be a burden. But you have proven stronger than any of us expected." Captain Gray nodded. "Humans may look weak, but we're survivors. We get hurt, but we heal and keep going." The aliens were silent as they walked alongside the humans. For the first time, they saw humans not as weak, but as resilient, even powerful in their own way. The aliens had always thought strength came from toughness on the outside, but the humans showed them a different kind of strength, the ability to keep going no matter how many times they were hurt. When they finally returned to their base, the story of the mission on Raxil spread quickly. Aliens who had once laughed at humans now spoke of their bravery and endurance. The laughter turned into admiration, and humans gained a new respect among the stars. The aliens learned a valuable lesson from their human allies. They now understood that while humans might seem fragile, they held a hidden power, one that went beyond physical toughness. It was a power of will, of determination, and the ability to heal and continue no matter what the galaxy threw at them. And from that day forward, no one in the galaxy would ever call humans weak again. The galaxy was full of strong and proud alien species, each with their own powers and abilities. Humans, however, were seen as fragile and weak. Their bodies were soft, and they were vulnerable to injuries in ways that most of the aliens had long forgotten. For years, humans had been underestimated, called weak by many, and barely noticed in the vastness of space. But they didn't know what humans had hiding beneath the surface. One mission would soon show them that their judgment was far from accurate. It all began when a human delegation was invited to assist an alien alliance on the planet Tryon, a hostile and treacherous world. Tryon was known for its dangerous wildlife, violent storms, and sharp, jagged cliffs. It was a place where only the strongest could survive. The leader of the alien team was Zorak, a massive, green-skinned warrior from the Vroken species. His people were known for their thick armor-like skin and immense strength. When he first met Captain James Miller, the leader of the human team, he couldn't hide his skepticism. "You do realize what we're up against, Captain?" Zorak asked with a deep, growling voice. "Tryon is not a planet for weaklings. Are you sure your people can survive here?" Captain Miller looked up at Zorak calmly. "We may not be as tough as you, but we know how to keep going, no matter what. Humans don't quit easily." Zorak didn't believe him. As they moved forward, he watched the humans carefully, waiting for them to falter. And sure enough, it didn't take long before one of the human soldiers, Private Jane Williams, tripped on a sharp rock, her knee scraping against the ground. Blood seeped from the cut, and Zorak chuckled quietly to himself. "See?" Zorak said to his fellow alien soldiers. "I told you. They won't last long." But to his surprise, Jane didn't panic. She simply stopped, pulled out a small first aid kit, and quickly cleaned and bandaged the wound. She didn't hesitate for a second. Within minutes, she was back on her feet, walking alongside the team without a word. "I'm fine," Jane said with a small grin. "Let's keep going." Zorak was surprised. Most creatures would have fallen behind or asked for help. But Jane didn't. This wasn't the first time Zorak's assumptions about the humans would be challenged. As they continued their journey, the group faced even more dangers. A violent storm swept across the plains of Tryon, with howling winds and massive lightning strikes. The storm tore through the group, knocking over rocks and forcing everyone to seek shelter. In the chaos, another human soldier, Corporal Gregson, was struck by a falling branch, injuring his shoulder badly. Zorak watched closely as Gregson grimaced in pain. He was sure the human would call for help or collapse under the weight of the injury. Instead, Gregson took a few deep breaths, tore a strip from his shirt, and wrapped it tightly around the injury to stop the bleeding. Then, without a word, he kept walking, barely slowed by the wound. "This is impossible," Zorak muttered under his breath, staring at the human soldiers who showed no signs of stopping. The deeper they traveled into Tryon, the more injuries piled up. The terrain was rocky and treacherous, the wildlife aggressive, and the weather unpredictable. It wasn't just the humans who got hurt. Even the alien soldiers were injured by sharp plants, aggressive animals, and sudden rockfalls. But the humans didn't slow down. Instead of complaining or giving up, they kept going, healing their wounds quickly and without hesitation. One day, as the group neared the mineral deposit they had come for, a massive rockslide occurred, trapping several of the team members under large boulders. A Vrokan soldier named Karuk was badly injured by a large stone, and Zorak himself was thrown to the ground by the shockwave. But when the dust settled, it was the humans who were the first to get back up. Private Jane, who'd been injured earlier, quickly moved to Karuk's side, lifting rocks with surprising strength to free him. Captain Miller, despite having a few cuts of his own, immediately went to work helping the other soldiers. The aliens, who had once laughed at the humans' weakness, were now watching in stunned silence. Zorak limped over to Captain Miller, his face a mixture of awe and disbelief. You humans heal so fast. You keep going no matter what. How is this possible?" Captain Miller paused for a moment, looking at the Vrokan leader with a tired smile. "We're not as strong as you in some ways, but we have something else: our bodies heal quickly, and our minds never give up. It's how we survive. We just keep going, no matter how many times we get knocked down." Zorak nodded slowly. He had never fully understood it before, but now he was beginning to see. It wasn't about being the strongest on the outside. It was about the strength to endure and keep going, no matter what the universe threw at them. The rest of the journey to the mineral deposit was completed with surprising ease, thanks to the humans' determination and quick healing. When they finally reached their destination and began the long trek back to their base, Zorak couldn't help but feel a deep respect for the humans. He had seen them injured, knocked down, and still keep moving forward. No other species had ever impressed him this much. By the time they returned to the base, Zorak was a changed alien. He had seen the true strength of the humans, not in their muscles or tough skin, but in their ability to keep going, to heal quickly, and never give up. From that moment on, Zorak no longer saw humans as weaklings. He saw them as one of the strongest species in the galaxy, not because of their outward toughness, but because of their incredible inner strength.